Friends Joy, and today I'm going to be doing my April wrap-up. So April was like an up and down kind of rain month for me because the first half of April I was sick and I'm feeling better than I did, but I did not do any reading for a whole, for the first week of me being sick. I couldn't read at all, even though I did read a little bit of an audiobook, but it's still not enough for me to do some physical readings, so I'm really happy that I've read one audiobook, which I was currently reading back in March, and the rest were physical reads, but I only have one physical book with me because the rest were from the library, so I'll be showing a picture of the book right here for the ones that I don't currently own, because like I said, most of the books that I've read in April were library books, thankfully, because I had so many library books that I need to catch up on, even though I couldn't catch up on the rest, but still, April was an okay reading month for me, but let's get to the wrap-up. So the first book that I've read is Children of the Whales Volume 1 by Abby Umeda. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm sorry to butcher the author's name, but basically it's about a group of people who are living on this moving island, and they only know their society within that island. They never saw anybody else off the island until they visited one island and they met a girl on this island, and that's all I want to give you a synopsis of. I read this on Becca from Becca and the Books recommendations, and I heard nothing but good things about that manga, and I haven't heard many people talk about that manga before, so like before Becca talked about it on her channel, and I really enjoyed it. I really like the artwork of this manga. I really like the characters. I like how they're very unique, and I really want to know about the world that it's in, other than the world in the mud whale that the society lives in. So I definitely want to continue on with this manga series because I enjoyed it very much, and I give this 5 stars. So the next book that I've read is A Semi-Definite List of Nightmares by Crystal Sutherland. I've read this on audiobook. I started this back in March with Spring's Arenathon, and I didn't finish on time, but I decided to continue on with the audiobook, this one is basically about after Esther's grandfather died, the whole family is doomed to face their one worst fear, and that's all I remember from it. I really enjoyed the book, but I really wished I read physically, because I think I'll like it better if I read physically than on audiobook. It was very hard for me to pay attention to what was going on, and then something happens and I'm like, how that happened? So I still enjoyed the book. I definitely would give it a reread on a physical format, just to get more of an idea of what was going on with the book, because a lot of times from me being sick, I did forget what happened in the book because I was trying to finish it up before the due date for my library, but I still enjoyed the book. Overall, I really like the concept of this book, and I give this 4 stars. And the next book that I've read in April is The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is about a family who are grave diggers, and they go after these zombie-like beings called bone houses, and they try to protect the kingdom from them, and that's all I remember from the synopsis. I really enjoy this book. I really like the atmosphere of the book. I just didn't feel connected with the characters, which disappointed me a bit, but I really like the concept of the book, and I really like the world. I just wish I didn't DNF it because I was sick and I couldn't read a physical book for a week, so I would give this a reread one day, and hopefully I'll really understand what was going on with the book. But I did enjoy it overall, and I give this 4 stars. So the next book that I've read is Civil War, Peter Parker, Spider-Man by Roberto Garza. I'm sorry, I'm reading this off of the author's name right here. So this is basically a comic book in Marvel Civil War comics. I'm not sure if they're connected, but this is all about Spider-Man. I've been in the mood for another Spider-Man comic for a while, and this is basically where Peter is in his adult life, and he's a college professor, and then he exposed to the world that he's Spider-Man, and then whole war. I feel like the war part is more like his enemies trying to go against each other, and then try to go against Peter because he's Spider-Man. That's all I know from my experience reading the comic. I did really enjoy it because it's a Spider-Man comic and he's my favorite Marvel hero. But some parts were a bit confusing because I've honestly jumped to different kind of comics and not follow, and the timelines are just a bit off when I've read it, so I still really enjoyed it. I just wish that I knew what was going on in the previous comics, but other than that, I give this 4 stars. And the next book that I've read in April is The Promised Neverland Volume 2 by Kayu Shirei. I think that's how you pronounce the other thing, and I apologize again for mispronouncing it. But if you haven't read the first volume, the whole concept of this story is there are a group of orphans that are staying really hard, and they are getting ready to be adopted, but they don't know what was going on the outside of the orphanage. And that's all that I want to give you on a synopsis, because the rest is a mystery, and I want you guys to find out for yourself. And I love this manga series so much, even though I have read 2 of the volumes so far, and I really want to continue on with the series, and I'm sad that it only lasts 20 volumes. And I know there's an anime series of The Promised Neverland, which I didn't know about until I saw it on Funimation, and I keep telling myself maybe I should watch it, but I'm like, maybe I should read a few more volumes and see what happens, even though I really don't care for spoilers if I go on with a series, because I still like the series overall, and I'm just really happy that I tried this out last year. And of course, I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. That was weird. Siri thought I was talking to her. But anyways, the last book that I've read in April is Library Wars, Love and War by Volume 1 by Kiro Yumi. I think that's how it's pronounced. And again, I'm sorry for butchering the author's name. But this is basically like librarians in a kind of like a police force kind of thing, but not actually part of the police force. They're all separate groups, which is really cool to me, and I really love the first volume. I can't wait to read the series as well, because I couldn't help but laugh because some of the characters were really funny, and I couldn't help but laugh. And then the police force were trying to say, let us do our jobs, and then they're like, no, this is the library force are like, no, this is our job, don't take away the book from that kid or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't help but laugh, and I just can't. A lot of these characters are so funny, and I can't wait to continue on with the series. Wow, I'm really struggling here. But anyways, I really enjoyed it overall, and I give it 5 out of 5 stars. So that's all for my April wrap up. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and comment down below what you've read in April. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post new videos. Also, you can follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, which all links will be down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!